Yo guys, today I'm going to be running through all of the hand wraps in CS, which are probably my favorite type of gloves, aside the sports gloves. And I'm going to be showing you some of the best and underrated combos for each glove that you may or may not have seen before. Okay, so starting with the cheapest, these are the Desert Shamak. They're in field tested, they're about 50 USD. So obviously if you're buying these gloves, then you're probably looking for a cheaper knife as well. So I think a really good pick is always going to be rust coats with these gloves, similar to constrictors. So a Huntsman's a really good option. I like the pull out, it's pretty basic, it's like slightly better than a gut knife, and then I think the black handle matches a little bit better as well. But yeah, rust coats are going to go really well with this this pair of gloves. However, if you are looking for something a little bit more expensive, we've got a Stiletto Tiger Tooth, which I think looks a little bit better. The Stiletto Tiger Tooth, I'll have all the prices on the screen again, but the Stiletto Tiger Tooth usually comes in at about $300, so you really are stepping the price up here compared to the rust coat Huntsman, which is just dirt cheap. But if you can find, sometimes you can find a decent pattern. The Stiletto isn't too bad, which sort of matches in the like lines and striations on the blade along with the gloves itself, and then obviously the handle matches really well as well. So those are two good options for this pair of gloves. Okay guys, so the next combo is going to be with the Avariel gloves. So I like these gloves quite a little bit more. There's a lot more combos you can do with this one. So they're pretty forgiving gloves. They can go with a lot of different knives, but in terms of finishes, you're a little bit limited if you want a good matching combo. So here we have Boreal Forest. I think that this matches better than any of the other forest camos like the D-Pat and stuff like that. I think this is the best matching one. The skeletons also always go really well with the hand wraps, just because of that little like threading they have around the handle bit that matches well. And this overall, just I think is a nice combo, relatively cheap as well. And then alternatively, if you have a little bit of a larger budget, so just over double the price, so we have a Bayonet Vanilla. You could also go with a Bayonet Rust Coat for this one, but I think the Vanilla is just nice and clean. Pull-out's always really nice, and then the handle as well is going to match quite nicely with these gloves here. Okay guys, so next up we have the Giraffes. Stepping it up a little bit in price again. These ones do wear very badly, so you may have to pick up a low field tested or minimal wear, because even at that mid field tested range they can look very scuffed. For this combo we've gone for a Talon Rust Coat. Again, there's a lot of rust coats, but it's particularly good if you can get a better wear gloves, because the white on the gloves become more white to match with the Talon handle. But even in the lower wear, I think this looks a really good sort of budget combo as well here, but this is the only one I could find for these gloves. And then for this combo here, we have the Falchion Rust Coat with the hand wrap constrictors. I used to have a Falchion. I think it was a rust coat as well, maybe a freehand. That was the first ever knife I had years and years ago. And I also used to have constrictor gloves. I think the constrictor gloves actually look really good despite the hate that they get. And I think they're sort of like budget slaughters. You can find these gloves for really cheap. But I think a Falchion Rust Coat matches decently well. Again, it's going to be another rust coat option here, so our second option. Yeah, so if you have a little bit of a larger budget, then you can go for a Butterfly Rust Coat. I actually really like this combo. I think this goes really well. Obviously you've got the prestige of the Butterfly, and the better wear in the constrictors, the more sort of life they have to them, the more little bits of color. And if you match that with a higher float Butterfly knife, then I think this can go really well together. And then for our next pair of gloves, we have the Cobalt Skulls. These are actually my own gloves that I own. So these are 0.15 field tested, so almost minimal wear. Pretty much every pair of Cobalt Skulls you'll find, even in minimal wear, will have that really annoying brush mark on the right thumb there. But other than that, the rest of the gloves look clean. I think that a really good, fairly cheap combo here is the M9 Bayonet Bright Water. So All bright waters go really well. I would personally pick a Karambit over the M9, but I have another M9 coming up with this pair of gloves that I'd like to prioritize. You can also go for a blue steel with this, so an M9 blue steel. If you want a little bit more of a basic, cleaner look, I think that goes really well as well. So can look at some case hardens. So I like the Nomad case hardens with these gloves. The Nomad's been growing on me in general. So if you can get a decent amount of blue, I believe this is about 38% blue. So if you can get one of those, it shouldn't be crazy overpay, particularly on a Nomad. And I think that this kind of blue works really well here, and I'm a big fan of this, but I can see how it's a bit hit or miss for some people. And then if you really want to ball out, then we can go for the Karambit Sapphire with these gloves. I think these go just fantastically. Probably a dream combo of mine. Again, like I said, these are my gloves, but this knife is incredibly expensive. A phase 4 would work as well, but just slightly less of a match and slightly more inconsistencies going on. But yeah, Karambit Sapphire. Okay, so for our next combo, we have the overprint hand wraps. These are one of my favorites as well. They are very pattern-based, so you can see the right hand on this pair of gloves is looking a little bit funky, a little bit different, so you might want to play around with that a little bit. There's not loads of overpay involved, but my go-to combo with these gloves would be a flip knife Gamma Doppler. This is a phase 3, but a phase 4 will also work. I love the flip knife in general, and a Gamma Doppler is just, yeah, it's just beautiful. I love this knife. The one thing about flip knives is the handle. So the handle is just a little bit mid, but it actually matches with the overprint gloves. It has that mid feel to the baseline of the gloves. So this is a fantastic combo right here. Alternatively, for a bit of a higher price, similar price if you go for a higher float, we have an M9 black laminate. So this is more of a clean look. I think this goes really well. The patterning on the handle goes well with the gloves, and then the black is just that sort of clean, basic look. A lot of black laminates will work with this again. I'd avoid the flip black laminate because it doesn't accentuate as much as something like the Gamma Doppler would, where it has that basic handle. But these are some good combos for the overprints. Okay, so moving on to the duct tapes, we have I think this is actually a minimal wear pair of duct tapes. You can see that they wear really badly, but they go really well with talons. So you can go for a vanilla stained or Damascus steel, all works well. I went for the cheapest option, which is a stained. Obviously the white handle again matches the white highlights of the hand wraps, and the greyish blade is mixing well with the overall colour. So you could also try for a skeleton Damascus steel. This one obviously doesn't have the white handle, but this is a super battle scarred one, and if you get it more in battle scarred, it tends to match much better with the overall grey colour of the glove, whereas the field tested Damascus steel is a little bit lighter coloured. So this is a pretty decent combo here as well for the duct tapes. Okay, and then over here we have the hand wrap Slaughter now. So besides the Cobalt Skulls, these are probably my second favourite pair. I used to have a battle scarred pair of these, but seeing these in good float field tested is making me want a pair. I personally love the accent colour on these gloves. So these have gone up in price massively lately because they are an OG pair of gloves, and you can't get them from any active case drops anymore. So it has good investment potential there as well. But any Slaughter is going to go pretty well with this. It's a slight color differentiation. I hate the Bowie knife, but I'm showing it with a Bowie knife just to give some differentiation between every. I mean, the Bowie knife's massive blade. You get a big finish in front of your face for a lower cost, so I can see how it appeals to some people. But yeah, Slaughter's going to be the way to go. Okay, or we could switch it up for a gut knife. So a gut knife Slaughter would work, but this is a gut knife Ruby, a little bit more expensive, but still at a decent price mark for a gem. I think this goes really, really well. The handle, yeah, handle matches perfectly, and the ruby red is also a great match as well. So the gut knife ruby is probably going to be one of your best combos here that you can get with these gloves. Okay, and then over here we have the caution gloves. So I'm a fan of these as well. They are cheaper priced because they're inactive drops. I think these gloves go really well with either black laminates or vanillas. Other than that, it's a little bit hard to match the yellow itself on there. You could go for a gamma doppler, but in my opinion, it doesn't look as good. So you're looking for more of like a clean finish with this one. So I actually have a flip black laminate myself. I think this is one of the best budget knives you can get if you like flip knives. I think it looks really clean, and this overall combo here looks great. This is a minimal wear flip knife. Or if you wanted to step up the price a little bit more, you could go for a law finish. So I think the M9 works very well. Like I said, that color match with the yellow is a little bit off, of course. But if it doesn't bother you too much, then this is a great finish. The handle obviously is clean as well. This is a minimal wear version. You could go for a field tested law and it'd be a little bit more scuffed. But this is another good combo for these gloves. And then, like I said earlier, along with black laminates, the vanillas are going to match really well. I think that skeleton knife vanilla is one of the cleanest vanillas in the game. It's at a cheap price. The grey matches very well. Overall, just with hand wraps, like I said earlier, the skeleton is just a great knife. So this is a great combo you can go for as well. Okay, and then for the next combo, we are looking at the Badlands gloves. In my opinion, you should never buy these gloves because they look arguably worse than the Arboreal, and they are about 10 times the price. So again, they're an OG from OG Glove Collection, so they have that higher price tag. These ones are going to go best with Tiger Tooth and Laws, really. Yeah, so this is what it looks like with a survival Tiger Tooth. So any Tiger Tooth will do pretty well with these gloves. I think the survival is a nice knife, cheap price, one of the best budget knives out there. Alternatively, for about double the price, you could go for a bayonet law. So again, this yellow doesn't quite match, but the green on the handle matches well, and overall just a decent combo, but I mean nothing compared to some of the other stuff. Okay, so for this knife glove combo, we see the return of the Talon Rust coat. This is, if these gloves weren't as expensive, again, OG collection, this would be fantastic. I personally love this combo, even though, it's that rusty look. But obviously the white handle matches the white accents on the glove, and then if you get a battle scarred rust coat, it matches very well with the leather look. Just overall a really nice clean combo, and Talon is probably going to be your best shot here due to its handle. Okay, and then for the last pair of gloves here in the hand wraps collection, we have the Spruce D-Pat. Again, fairly expensive gloves for what you get, but they are unique. They stand out a little bit more. It's not just another like rust coat combo sort of thing that you're getting with a lot of these gloves here. So these go well with any kind of boreal forest or forested D-Pat. I believe this is the CrossFit boreal forest. I think this is slightly better than forested D-Pat, although there's not a load of difference here. And then alternatively, the better option in my opinion would be a butterfly safari mesh. So these go well with safari meshes again. I think that how the whole color is just the same throughout the entire knife matches really well, and obviously the safari mesh is matching the accent color on the gloves as well. So this is the final combo of the video, and a good one to finish it off as well. If you guys did enjoy, please like and subscribe. Obviously this is my first video on the channel. I'm going to continue making videos like this. I don't care how many views they get, but I enjoy this and this is fun for me. So I'm going to share my autistic interests with you. So if you want to follow along for the journey, then go for it. I appreciate that. Thanks for watching, guys.